To ring in the new year of 1993, 39-year-old Colin Ireland decided to fulfill his New Year's resolution of becoming a serial killer by killing 5 gay men in London. Thanks for joining me for Colin Ireland, the Gay Slayer. Like most serial killers, there was a duality about Colin Ireland. He helped at homeless shelters and was well thought of by people in his community. He also spent much of his youth in and out of jail for petty crimes. His second wife said, before he walked out on the family, that he was charming and controlling. In the 1980s, Ireland began working as a bouncer at a gay club. Nearly a decade later, for reasons known only to Ireland, he decided to use as his hunting ground the Coleherne pub in West London's Earl's Court, a gay club. People described Ireland as imposing. He was stocky and handsome in a rugged way. He would meet men at the Coleherne that he thought were ideal passive S&M partners, and they would go back to that man's apartment. Once they were there, Ireland would tie the man up and strangle him. After the murder, Ireland would stage the bodies, steal money, and usually spend the night with the corpse before slipping out of the flat in the morning. On March 8, 1993, Peter Walker and Ireland met at the Coleherne, going back to Walker's flat. Once inside, Ireland demanded money, burning Walker's testicles, covering his head with a plastic bag, and suffocating him to death. The next morning, Ireland, 200 pounds richer, left his handiwork behind for the police to discover. When Walker's murder didn't make the news, Ireland called the Sun newspaper to report Walker's dead body in his flat. He told the newspaper, quote, that he had trussed the man up like a chicken. With that, Ireland was ready to kill again. On May 28, 1993, 37-year-old Christopher Dunn met Ireland at the Coleherne pub. They went back to Dunn's flat. This time, Ireland was prepared with handcuffs that he used on Dunn as part of the sex play. He strangled Dunn while demanding his bank card PIN information. When Dunn gave up his banking details, Ireland strangled him to death. He once again stayed overnight with the body and staged the scene for maximum shock value for investigators. I don't know how shocked the police were, but they took or mistook Dunn's murder as some sort of sex game gone wrong and labeled it death by harmless misadventure. Once again, Ireland got away with murder. 6 days later, Ireland returned to the Coleherne looking for his next victim. On June 4th, 1993, Ireland met 33-year-old Perry Bradley. Back at Bradley's West Kensington flat, Ireland had to persuade the American businessman to allow himself to be tied up. Once he was bound, Ireland waited until the man fell asleep and strangled him to death. Once again, Ireland spent the night with the body. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but none of the 3 police stations across London made any connection between the 3 murdered gay men, all picked up in the same bar, all found dead with some sort of bondage situation having occurred, all strangled to death. A large part of the disconnect came down to the mistrust and maltreatment of the gay community over many years by the police, a disdain and disconnect that made gay men ripe targets for violence and serial murder. On the 7th of June, 1993, Colin Ireland returned to his hunting ground, the Coleherne, where he met 33-year-old Andrew Collier. Once at Collier's flat, Ireland bound, tortured, and castrated Collier, placing his genitals in his cat's mouth. He had also killed the cat. In custody, Ireland told the police he was angered to learn that Andrew Collier had AIDS. Even though Ireland said he had no intention of having sex with the man, he wanted to punish him anyway. Once again, Ireland called the police, this time claiming to be the murderer of all 4 gay men. Asked why he was killing gay men, Ireland told the Battersea police, "They keep their mouths shut. I don't like them. They're despicable." He finished the call by saying that he would kill 1 man a week. On June 12, 1993, Ireland called the police to report a fire in a flat, telling police they would find the body of Emanuel Spiteri, whom he'd also met at the Coleherne. This last meeting would signal the end of Colin Ireland's killing spree. At Spiteri's flat, Ireland handcuffed and strangled him under the pretense of S&M play. When Spiteri was dead, Ireland piled furniture and some of the bedclothes in the center of the room and set them on fire. For all of his earlier care in cleaning the crime scenes, on this occasion, Ireland had gotten sloppy. At London's Pride in 1993, police handed out flyers asking the community for help, finally, but Ireland remained at large. It would be a gay man who was on a community watch who gave police the eyewitness description of Spiteri and Ireland together on a train, which led the police to the CCTV evidence of the two men walking together through the station. Once posters of Ireland began to pop up, he was afraid that he would eventually be caught. So he issued a prepared statement to the police claiming that he was with Spiteri in his flat, but had left when a third man had arrived for a threesome, ending the statement by telling the police that he had spent that night in a churchyard, going back to his home in Southend the next morning. Ireland was promptly arrested. Remember when I said Ireland was becoming sloppy? Well, it seems that before he murdered Mr. Collier, there was a noise outside of Collier's flat, and he and Ireland went to the window to see what was going on. While standing at the window, Ireland had touched the window frame, leaving his fingerprints behind. When confronted with this forensic detail, Colin Ireland confessed to all 5 murders. Ireland's confessions were striking in their frankness, and for his affability and humor, he was downright chatty. He was finally getting the attention he had so desperately craved. When his case came to the Old Bailey on December 20th, 1993, Ireland pled guilty to all 5 murders and was given 5 life sentences. In sentencing him, the judge said Ireland was exceptionally frightening and dangerous, adding, "To take 1 human life is an outrage. To take 5 is carnage." Colin Ireland died on February 21st, 2012, at Wakefield Prison of natural causes. He was 57 years old. When asked why he was killing, Ireland replied that he wanted to know if it could be done and if he could get away with it. One of the things that I find so troubling about Ireland's killing spree and the police is how little the London police seem to have learned in the 21 years between Ireland and Stephen Port, who in 2014 began killing gay men in London. Port even left one of his victims outside of his front door, his other victims in and around a church courtyard within walking distance from his home, and the police still were not able to make a connection, thinking all of these young men were druggies who had died from overdoses. None of them were, and simple toxicology tests would have shown the deadly levels of GHB and other drugs in their system. I don't want to single out London's police force for any special drubbing. This happens all around the world. And although it seems that relationships between the queer community in the United States, Britain, and Canada has improved overall, we won't really know how well things are going until the next serial murderer decides to go on a killing rampage using the queer community as their target. These are the lives Colin Ireland snuffed out as part of his murderous, homophobic game. Each one is loved and mourned still. To learn more about the victims of Colin Ireland, check out the notes in the description. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.